Ladies and gentlemen, I have some breaking news for you today, and that is the man who once called for a new constitutional amendment to eradicate the right to keep and bear arms wants you to know that he's not actually anti-gun. So please, pretty please, would you vote for him and his metric tons of hair gel in 2028? Yeah, no, please don't do that. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel with a tale of Gavin Newsom over here attempting to rebrand and pretend that he is a moderate, even by accepting a gun as a gift. On a public appearance, this is the guy that had anyone not locked up in their house arrested during COVID while he went out to fancy dinners with all his fancy friends, so none of this should be surprising to anyone, but boy is it funny to watch. Now before I show you this complete circus that Newsom is trying to pull and the video of him actually receiving a gun from a podcaster, I'd like to shout out a friend of this channel, and that is Ammo Squared. Ammo Squared helps you stay stocked up on ammo automatically with a set it and forget it approach that lets you pick your calibers, your monthly budget, and how often you want it shipped, so you'd never have to worry about ammo shortages or changing prices locally or online ever again. Their company is designed to help gun owners stock up on ammo on literally any budget. This monthly budget can be anything from the price of a few boxes to the price of a single round if that's how much you can spare. Everything about it is fully customizable with 70 calibers to choose from, stored in a climate-controlled environment until you decide to have it shipped discreetly to your door, and all orders of $250 or more are shipped completely free. There is no minimum to buy, no membership fees, and all ammo is factory new from brands that you trust, so thank you to Ammo Squared for providing such a cool service to gun owners since 2015. So, Gavin Newsom did this interview with this guy, Sean Ryan, who I've never heard of, but apparently he's a big deal podcaster and former Navy SEAL. There were some interesting nuggets, like Ryan pointing out California's laws that now allow the state to basically take kids away from their parents if the parents don't support gender-affirming care for minors or use the right pronouns or whatever. And Newsom saying, oh, yeah, there's some nuance there to that language, while he played an imaginary piano, I don't know, and claimed, well, it's okay because 20 other states support California doing that. He also said that half of all agricultural workers in California and 41% of construction workers are all illegal immigrants, and without them, Americans won't have food and the state won't be able to rebuild after the Palisades fire. The fire which the state has only approved about 1% of permits needed to rebuild. He also said that they're not taking American jobs because, quote, people who look like me don't want those jobs.
Do you feel that they're taking American jobs?
Not in Tulare County, not in Ventura County. I don't know many people that want a job out there in those packing facilities. Mm-hmm. I don't see many people look like me jumping at those jobs. I just don't.
I had to show the clip because when I read the quote, I thought there was no way it was real. It's real. But now the part that you all came here for, where Newsom says he is respectful and deeply mindful, so demure, of the Second Amendment. Gavin says that legal gun owners increase crime, gun death, and that despite blue cities having the highest murder rates in the country, red states are the hotbeds of crime and murder in this country due to the number of legal gun owners. Yet 9 of the 15 safest states are constitutional carry states, but I don't have to tell you that. You guys know the deal on that one.
Do you think that everyday citizens carrying a gun reduces crime or increases crime?
I think the evidence suggests the opposite. It increases the likelihood of a gun death. And you look at all the states with the most comprehensive gun safety reforms, they have lower gun death rates than states with weaker gun laws. And there's a correlation there. California is one of the lowest gun death rates in America. The highest murder rates in the country tend to be red states, significantly so. You look at the murder rate, 8 of the top 10 murder rates per capita in the country are all red states.
Well, I thought Chicago was the number one.
No, well, as cities, you'll have different experiences. But at state levels, gun safety, from our perspective, saves lives. And we have the data to bear that out. You look at the common sense gun safety laws that California started establishing in the 90s. You look at our gun death rate from the 90s till today, significant reduction, nation-leading reduction in the gun death rate. So That's the prison to which I'm into the data. I'm into the evidence. I'm also deeply mindful and respectful of the Second Amendment and people's constitutional rights.
Deeply mindful and respectful of the Second Amendment.
He claims that federal law does not bar people who have been hospitalized for drug abuse, alcohol abuse, or mental health issues from owning guns. Ryan points out that many veterans have mental health issues and are afraid of losing their rights to someone like Gavin Newsom, and Newsom responds by saying that he's talking about wanting to red flag violent felons, which by federal law are already prohibited. So by saying these people are still getting guns, he's acknowledging that the gun control doesn't work. But, California is like the safest and cleanest place ever, according to Gavin Newsom. Ryan also gives Newsom a California-compliant SIG P365, and here's the money shot where he says that he's not anti-gun at all.
What do you got, man?
Here we go. You ready for this?
Look, oh, Jesus.
Ready for this?
Is this an accident? I got to report this gift, man.
That is a California-compliant SIG Sauer P365 macro.
You know what? Last thing people would expect is that I respect this gift.
Really?
I appreciate, yeah, man. I'm not anti-gun at all. I'm for just some gun safety, common sense.
Note how he says that he has to report this. There's no acknowledgement that actually he has to have it shipped to an FFL, go through a background check, and wait 10 days, provided he's, allowed, which of course he is because he's the governor and everyone else are just the plebes. He goes on to say that he's only about common sense and has no ideological issues at all with the right to keep and bear arms. I can't even say that with a straight face, you guys.
And I think we've lost a little touch with some common sense around background checks. I think there's an age appropriateness. I do have some, I'm challenged by large capacity magazine clips in urban centers and weapons of war that are out there, sometimes outgunning the police. But otherwise, man, people have the right to bear arms, and I got no ideological opposition to that at all.
Okay. He said he's against weapons of war and citizens outgunning the police. The militarized police force that now has tanks and busts down people's doors with SWAT teams all the time. Fun fact, as an aside, I once went to a police graduation ceremony and they referred to themselves as a paramilitary industry. Anyways, now these high-capacity clips in urban centers are common use items, and it shouldn't matter whether someone lives in a city or out in the country as to what rights they get, or what items that are constitutionally protected. The ARs that he's also against are common use and also protected. And despite his claims of not being anti-gun, his state is one of the most restrictive in the nation, thanks to him. Since taking office in 2019, he has signed nearly 70 gun control bills into law. Firearms get added to the California roster arbitrarily. You might as well just throw crap at a wall and see what sticks. In 2023, he supported an additional 11% tax on guns and ammo. In 2005, as mayor, he supported Proposition H, which banned the possession, manufacture, and sale of handguns in San Francisco. He was also with Kamala Harris on her plans to allow police into people's homes to inspect their guns for proper safety and storage. In 2016, as lieutenant governor, he spearheaded the push for Proposition 63 as its spokesperson, which required background checks for ammo and banned high-capacity, aka standard-capacity mags. He's banned gun shows from state property and complained that Bruin would lead to more gun owners. He's talked about the need to stop gun culture. He, of course, called for the full repeal of the Second Amendment. But Newsom is so moderate and so pro-constitutional rights that he allows concealed carry in his state after a review process, which is one way of putting it, with the insane hoops, wait times, and some jurisdictions charging more than $1,000 for a permit. He says this is because the people of California just don't want people running around all willy-nilly in schools and playgrounds with concealed firearms. Except it's about more than schools and playgrounds, obviously, as Newsom signed more than 24 sensitive places into law post-Bruin. But of course, he points out law enforcement is exempt from the state's gun control laws, as if that's a point of pride.
Idea of, I mean, I think there's a cultural construct in California that people just don't want people running around with concealed carry. And, folks you're running into in a restaurant or bar, or you're on the BART in Bay Area Rapid Transit, or you're in the school or in the playground, and everyone running around that's got a gun, and the good guys from the bad guys. I think there's just sort of a cultural mindset around that, a concern around that. We allow for it. There's a process. There's, law enforcement has a process. By the way, we exempt law enforcement from these gun safety laws in the vast majority of cases.
And all I can think of as I'm talking about this is back during COVID, there was a comedian who did an amazing impression of Gavin Newsom. And he would say,
Newsom science! Now, if you look through your microscopes, you'll be able to see the chances of me becoming president.
But if that is not enough to convince you guys, he went skeet shooting on Mother's Day and is great at it, by the way, and that should be proof enough that he has not and never will come for your guns.
What did I do on Mother's Day? I was at Wing and Barrel with my kids, with a 9-year-old, doing skeet shooting.
No shit.
That's what I did on Mother's Day.
Are you any good at it?
I'm not good. I'm great at it, okay? Because I've been doing it for years and years, for the goddamn record.
That skeet shooting place, by the way, is apparently a winery.
I've said it before, so I'll lie it again. I'm not running for president in 2028. Damn straight you're not.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. You guys know the drill for all of the algorithm things. Please do them, and please do not vote for Gavin Newsom. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there, especially if he's running around doing skeet. And happy shooting.